Hi, welcome to the channel, Budget Order Review and Upgrades, and today I've got a Yamaha DSP A990, a digital signal processing unit, amplifier built in, 7 channels, Dolby Pro Logic, all that kind of stuff, but it's old hat. This is old now, this come out around about 1990. I think back then it was about £400 or £500, $500 or $600 back then, and it's quite a chunky, heavy unit. Now, people getting rid of these today, they don't want these because they haven't got the connections they require at the back to connect up to HDMI, etc. You know, for all the latest Blu-ray players and all that, but you can still get this. You can still get this into your system. Just a little bit of faffing about. You haven't got full control of the video and all that kind of thing. Switching the video, you're gonna have to try to do that manually through your TV. But it's still a way of connecting this up and making it a Dolby Pro Logic unit. But we're not going to do that today. Today I'm just going to concentrate on using this as just a 2-channel amplifier. Is it any good to, to someone that's just starting up, or thinking about maybe just getting this and maybe using the other features a bit later on when they increase the amount of speakers and all that kind of stuff, because these go really cheap. I mean, you can pick up one of these for £40. If you don't believe me, there'll be one on eBay very, very soon. It'll be pick up only, I'm afraid. This is going on there for £40, and they do come up for that kind of money because people just don't want them these days. Okay, so before we start, we're going to have a little look at the back. Right, we've got the back of the unit here, so what we're going to do is have a little look at all the sockets. There's lots and lots of them, but don't worry, we're not going to use most of these. In fact, we're probably only going to use a couple, but I'm going to give a quick description of all the others that's on there. So we're going to start off with the very far left-hand side at the top. We've got a CD, so that's for our CD player we can plug in there. Underneath is a tuner input. This hasn't got a tuner built in. Some of these units have got a tuner built in, like a receiver kind of function, but this one hasn't. So if you wanted to go and buy a separate tuner, that would plug in there. You've got your tape for your tape player. Record in and out. That could be a normal compact cassette, reel-to-reel, etc. Underneath that you've got an auxiliary, so anything can plug into there. Then underneath that you've got your phono input for your record player, your turntable, etc. That'll plug in there. It's got its own little preamp built into this amplifier, so no need to worry there. That'll plug straight in. If you come over just over to this side here, you see the audio signal in. Now if you follow it down on the yellow connections, the yellow composite connections, you'll see that this is like old technology, old connections here. You have your red and white for your audio and your yellow for your composite here, or a Super VHS video connection here. These little connectors here. Not many, some old things have got that, but most new things haven't got that. So a lot of people won't be using that these days. That's why this is redundant. People will be looking for HDMI sockets, digital inputs and coax inputs, that kind of thing be looking for here. This hasn't got it, so people dismiss this. They don't want this anymore, but it still makes a 2-channel amplifier. You can still connect this up to a surround system. You can still make a surround system up. It's just that you won't connect the video part into this. You just connect the audio output from your, say, Blu-ray player into this still. You can still connect it up. There's still leads and ways of connecting it up, but the video part wouldn't come through this. The video part would go directly to your TV, or another switching box maybe. There's an option for another switching box if you've got lots of things you want to connect. But we're going to forget about there, but the connections are there. They can be used. So it's like a little bit future-proof maybe, old technology-wise, but you could use it. You could start this off with a 2-channel amplifier for your stereo, your record player, etc., CD player, and later on you may think, oh, I want to connect up my TV to this and maybe add a few extra speakers. And also, just bear in mind also that this is just a 2-channel. We're going to just use it today as a 2-channel amplifier for your, say, CD player. But it has got functions to make that CD player sound like you're in a concert hall, you're in a theatre, all different kind of bits it's got at the front. We'll flick through them again in a minute, but I did use them briefly just to make sure they worked. But, basically you're going to use it for a 2-channel amplifier, left and right, and that's it. But that is an option there. You could kind of have them effects if you wanted to, something to muck about with, something to play with, something you may like, something you may not like, it's up to you, everyone's different taste, but we'll go through which ones you can have at the front in a minute. So yeah, you could plug, like I say, your CD player in here as normal, 2 channels, but the options to spread it out a bit if you want to make some different effects, etc. So if we come back here, onto the back here, you've got your coupler here for your preamplifier out. So the preamplifier out here, you just pull these out, these couples, and obviously that won't be connected now. We'll put them back in. So you can have your pre-out here going to another amplifier if you wanted to, or you could have your own preamplifier going to the input of this amplifier if you wanted to. But it's your choice. But I don't think you're really going to do that, to be honest with you. It doesn't really warrant that kind of thing, I don't think, for what it is. But the option is there, and also you've got your rear outputs here, your centre output here if you wanted to connect it to another amplifier, and you've got your subwoofer output here at the bottom here. It's a little subwoofer. You'd have to buy yourself a separate active subwoofer. That's a subwoofer with an amplifier built in, and the low frequencies would come out here. and boost up the low frequencies of this particular amplifier. Then you've got your connections for all your speakers, your front, left and right, your centre, your front, left and right effects speakers, and your rear, left and right effects speakers. And one last socket at the back here is a switched AC outlet at 100 watts. And if you want to know what to use that for, you can use that for other things, connecting other things like a turntable, etc. to this. So when you turn this on, your turntable comes on, saves an extra plug going in the wall, it goes into the back here. I've got a video at the top here, so if you want to go and visit that, it gives you some more ideas, maybe what to use this socket for. But you could even use it as a Bluetooth to run a little Bluetooth device on it. But that video will explain it a little bit more in detail. Okay, we're going to flick it back. Right, here's the front, and it's quite a nice looking unit. It's quite a bulky unit. It weighs 14 kilos. It's quite an hefty unit. Take 5 of you to lift it, something like that. But no, it is quite heavy. At the front here, it looks quite normal. You've got your input select here. If we just have a look here, it'll flick through your different inputs. Hopefully you can see them going across the screen there. Your laser disc, your CD, your tune, all that kind of stuff going across the front. You've got a couple of direct ones here, which you can just press VCR, straight onto VCR, straight onto CD. A straight LD laser disc, you know, you're bound to have one of them laying about, you want to quickly jump to that. But that is old technology. Like I say, this is an old unit. You've got your volume control here. Now with this unit, I just want to quickly stop there before I go any further. With this unit, it is handy to have the remote control for a couple of reasons, because obviously this, you can turn the volume up, you can start doing some adjustments from your seat with the remote, but it doesn't really matter that much, but it is handy. It's kind of an handy thing. And if you're going to use this surround sound part, if you're going to start using the effects, it's fine as it is. I mean, it's set up as it is. It's fine. I've tried them out and they all work. They all sound okay, you know, as they should do kind of thing. But if you want to get it spot on, you have to produce some white noise. This will produce some white noise. You have to have a little thing connected, a microphone connected, I think, or something like that. And you have to balance it all up. And you need the remote to do that if you want to get it spot on. But as it is, it's not, you know, it's okay. But if you want to get it 100% spot on, you really need the remote control if you're going to use the sound effects, you know what I mean, the theatre, the football stadium, all that kind of thing. If you're going to use them effects, then maybe an idea to get the remote. But without the remote, like I say, these are cheap. It's just as a two-channel amplifier, and you don't need the remote for that at all, really. You can just get up and turn the volume. It's no hardship, really. Okay, so it tells you on the front, you know, what's happening, and here it says effects off. This is just a two-channel amplifier with the effects turned off. So if we flick this down here, we've got a little few things here we can use. This is your record out. This is just selecting which thing you're going to use. So, you know, say you've got your tape, your CD, you want to record that to your tape deck. You just select that's the one you want to channel it to your tape deck, or something else, your record player to your tape deck. You can do that independently with this. You've got your input trim, and it's quite handy, this input trim. What it is, if you've got like a record player, a CD that's a bit on the low side, you know, the output of that particular unit is a bit on the low side, you can boost it up to 6 dB. Hopefully you can see that. Just, you know, boost it up to extra 6 dB in 2 dB stages, if I get it out. But it doesn't go minus, it doesn't do a minus, it just boosts it between 2, it goes 2, 4, 6 dB, you know, a bit more oomph to it kind of thing, a bit more louder. You've got your program here, and as you can see, hopefully I'll put a picture if you can't see this, but you've got your things, you've got movie theatre, 70mm effects, you've got your video theatre, classic film, you've got your video theatre fantasy, you've got a rock and pop concert video, you've got a classical opera video hall, you've got a TV theatre, you've got a drama, you've got all different things here, disco, a stadium, a cellar club, a village gate, that says a village gate, I don't know what that is, an arena, the Roxy Theatre, you've got a little delay there of 40 milliseconds, and a live concert, and there's quite a few on there, a church, a hall in All-Sea in Europe, you know, quite a few different effects on this that you can play through. But like I say, we're going to have it in the off position, but you can still turn them on if you want to. It's going to give that little echo kind of effect on the speakers you've got connected if you've only got 2. But when you start adding the extra speakers, it's going to come from around you and give more, you know, a better effect than what it would be like, say, in a concert or something like that. But we're not going to use that today. Like I say, this is just a 2-channel amplifier, but the option is there if you wanted to use it. Got some more inputs on the front here, and this is auxiliary 2. We can plug some stuff in there straight to the front in the auxiliaries, and just your volume control, and that is it. Oh, the power switch obviously to turn it on and off, and your headphone sockets there as well. So that is basically it. You know, it's quite a nice unit. Like I say, back in its day would have cost, you know, a reasonable amount of money really, £400 or £500, something like that in the UK. So now I'm going to put a video up separate to this of a few demo tracks just to give you an idea of this sounded, and I've pitched it up against the one I keep pitching up most things against is the Sansui AU101. I kind of use that amplifier as like a bench test kind of amplifier. I'm not saying it's a brilliant amplifier or anything like that, you know, but for an amplifier you're going to get for £100, you know, it's going to take a bit of beating really for, you know, if you're going to go and buy a second-hand amplifier for £100, that's quite a good one, you know, to look at kind of thing and kind of like compare others to, I would say. So we're going to do a little comparison against the two, but obviously, you know, tell you what it's all about. But yeah, I'm going to put a video, like I say, separate video, just a few tracks, this against the Sansui 101 with the Mordant Short TI-55 speakers. So that video's at the top. Okay, so how did this sound? Okay, so how did it sound? Let's get to the nitty gritty. How did it go? Tried obviously record player, CD, all that kind of stuff, usual kind of music I play. I'll come back to the phono stage in a minute towards the end, but normal kind of stuff I play on it, CDs, etc. The first thing I noticed, you're probably going to notice, there's a little bit bass shy this unit. I don't know if it is, I had an RKM 330 and that was a little bit bass shy. This seems to be a bit bass shy. Maybe that's where they put the subwoofer output on the back. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what it is. But this is supposed to be, I think that Yamaha kind of go for a neutral, natural kind of sound, spread right across the board. And it was kind of there. It kind of achieved that. I think it was like, yeah, it was kind of like a flat sound, but apart, it kind of, the bass was lacking a bit. Like I say, the bass was lacking, and that flatness carried on throughout, I think, but just rolled off at the end and was lacking a little bit of top end as well. So that was the main two parts here. Bass, I think, you know, I was reaching for this bass control. I think I forgot to mention that you've got bass, treble and balance here. And I was going here trying to like even this up, trying to make it sound just a little bit better, a bit more bass to it. So I was cranking this up 1 or 2 on the bass, goes up to 5. So 1 or 2 on the bass to try and bring that up. But the bass was lacking a little bit of detail as well, not quite as detailed as the Sansui. Yeah, you know, the bass on the Sansui was better without a doubt. It was more defined as well. But it was okay, you know what I mean? It was okay, just may want to try and help it out. If you've got a bassy set of speakers, obviously that's going to help as well. If you've got a bit bass shy speakers, then this is going to kind of like not help. I don't think you're going to be reaching for that bass control. But like I say, when you reach for it, it's going to turn it up a bit, but it's still ain't going to make it more defined or anything like that. It's just going to increase it kind of thing as it is. And the treble was a little bit rolled off towards the end of the treble as well. The treble could have been a little bit more defined for my liking as well. It was there. It didn't have to sparkle as you know, as the Sansui did. The Sansui had more sparkle, had a bit more life, and it was more musical, like sounded more nicer, like to me. You know, listen to that test I got between the two. It is hard to tell, I think, on that test, but that's how it was here. It just had a little bit more sparkle, that Sansui. But all in all, this was fine when you sat back, relaxed, and forgot about it and just went with the music kind of thing. You didn't really notice, but you know, listening and being critical and trying to pick these bits and pieces out, that's the kind of thing. I found that it was just a little bit more crisper, a little bit more defined, that Sansui, than this. This is a little bit more cloudier, shall I say. The music was a little bit more cloudier, could have been a bit more brought into focus, you know what I mean? It's a little bit, it was smoothed off a bit too much. You wanted a bit more clarity to it kind of thing, but it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. Still sounded nice. I mean, this is I think this is where it's placed. It's ideal for a 2-channel setup, and it's also got all these extra features. You've got, like I say, you've got the surround. You can turn it into a church. You can turn it into a stadium. Just that 2-channel, and you've still got the possibility to hook it up even to a DVD, a Blu-ray player these days. You can still connect the output of that into this and have it going through your 7-speaker setup if you wanted to, and your bass speaker as well, and turn it into an home theatre kind of thing. That's still a possibility with this, even though it's old connections at the back. It's still feasible and still can be done. But all in all, this is rated at 60 watts a channel, according to the manual, 8 ohms, 60 watts for the front, left and centre. Sorry, let's get that right, left and right and the centre. Wasn't using the centre, just using 2 speakers, but they're rated at 60 watts each. If you wanted to connect a centre, that'd be another 60 watts. If you wanted to connect a front effects, they're 22 watts into 8 ohms. And if you wanted to connect a rear effects, they're 22 watts into 8 ohms as well. So, you know, it's got a fair bit of oomph to it, and it kind of started noticing as well, once I turned the Sansui up to about halfway, and we started turning this up to halfway, you could tell this had a bit more oomph. Even though the Sansui is rated at 15 watts, it held its own, but this 60 watts, you know, you could just tell there's a bit more power into it. But that power wasn't translating into a more aggressive bass or more thud of a bass or anything like that, you know, making it any louder or any clearer or anything like that. The Sansui still seems to win in that department, but you could just tell there was more power here, a bit more. It wasn't a vast amount, but you could tell there was a bit more power here than there was in that Sansui. But don't forget that was only rated at 15 watts a channel. But that Sansui just sounded a little bit more crisper, a little bit more, it was sounding more detailed. It was more open, had more of a 3D effect to it. The sound, you know, more of a 3D sound stage. Well, this was like a one dimension, but it had that wide sound stage, just went just beyond the speakers slightly. The instruments were spread about, you know, there was all placed, but just could be a bit more defined where they were placed. But other than that, it was okay, but just lacked that 3D kind of effect. You know, this kind of way, it was okay that way, but the 3D, the separation that way, it wasn't really there, to be honest with you. It was quite flat, where the Sansui excelled in that department. But all in all, I think it's quite a good amplifier. You know, if you're going to go and pick up one of these for 40 or 50 pound, and if you're living local to me, because I won't post it, I'm afraid it just weighs too much. I haven't got a box big enough. It just really isn't worth the hassle for me. But I'm going to stick this up on eBay for £40, and I think that's whereabouts they're going to be, kind of thing. So, you know, if you're looking for something like this, that's like a little bit more future-proof, I suppose, even though it's old out, keep saying it's old, 1990 it come out, somewhere around there, but it's still, like I say, you can still connect this up, save you going and get like one of these that just come out today, say, I know it's got Dolby Atmos and all that kind of stuff, and it's got the HDMI, it's got the coax, it's got the digital inputs, all that kind of stuff, but then all of a sudden you start paying £6,000 or £7,000 or £1,000, something like that, for something similar. So that's it really, quite a nice looking unit. And you know, I recommend if you've got £40–50 to spend and you want to start off with this, you're not going to be too disappointed, I don't think. Like I say, that Sansui amplifier is double the price probably to go and get, and it, you know, just does the one thing, but this is a bit more open, a bit more of a Pandora's box, can do a few more things that can't. Okay, I'll say thanks for watching. Until the next video, I'll see you all soon.